I'll be... Bro, I'm gonna have to pretty much, at this point, throw away my whole pantry, refrigerator. It's just... Are you seeing this recall? Chicken broth? Who don't use chicken broth, bro? I know everybody got to have some, just about. If you don't, I don't really trust you. But we're going to get into all of this, man. Y'all know how this goes. Question everything. You should. And remember, this is for entertainment purposes only. Let's get to it.
America, Walmart recalls over 12,000 cartons of chicken broth in 9 states, and it's kind of gross. So Walmart stores recently recalled more than 12,000 cartons of chicken broth amid concerns that the product's packaging was compromised. The recalled product is a Great Value brand of chicken broth, which was sold in 48-ounce containers, according to the FDA. So here's the gross reason. The reason for the recall is potential for packaging failures that could compromise the sterility of the product, resulting in spoilage. You heard it, spoilage. America.
Y'all. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm in Western North Carolina, and a lot of people are still, not everybody on this app, but it's cold. So for people who don't think Western North Carolina needs help anymore, think about the people that are in the tents and the campers, even the people in the hot tents. It's cold. That's cold. I didn't get to finish that video earlier this morning. Things just got a little crazy, but don't forget Western North Carolina. There's so many that still need help. So many. Don't forget, please.
Yeah, let's continue to spread the word, man. I saw everybody was, some people were sending me the clips of Trump speaking about it at the inauguration, or whenever the clip surfaced, wherever it was from. So that gave me a little joy to hear it, but we still have to see the follow through.
People of North Carolina been treated so badly.
3 people froze to death sleeping in tents. Now that TikTok is back, I'm just trying to get your FYP back to the right stuff. That's right, 2 adults and a baby froze to death as they were forced to sleep in tents in Western North Carolina. Everyone's FYP seems to have been reset. And I'm here just to make sure that we don't lose sight of the actual things that are going on. So it's January 20th, and it's 18 degrees outside. And the low tonight is going to be 10 degrees. I don't want anybody to lose sight of the fact that people are still homeless, people are not getting support, and people are dying.
Our country can no longer deliver basic services in times of emergency, as recently shown by the wonderful people of North Carolina, been treated so badly. And other states who are still suffering from a hurricane that took place many months ago. Or more recently, Los Angeles, where we are watching fires still tragically burn. From weeks ago, without even a token of defense. They're raging through the houses and communities, even affecting some of the wealthiest and most powerful individuals in our country, some of whom are sitting here right now. They don't have a home any longer. That's interesting. But we can't let this happen. Everyone is unable to do anything about it. That's going to change.
I think this is how the Matrix was built. Look at all these poles and wires creating these grids. So keeping humans trapped in a layer, right? Like keeping us from connecting to higher frequencies above that. And then using asphalt and concrete to block us from the energies that come up from the earth. So they block us on the ground layer, and they're blocking us in through the air and the wires. It is a global form of binding and bondage magic. They have us all in bondage. That's what all of this is.
When there's no power, no internet, no water, no food, what are you going to do? This colorful and illustrated forager's guide shows you what you can harvest in your backyard or in the forest near you. This is basically an off-grid food book. It is golden knowledge that our ancestors had many years ago, and it is disappearing really fast. From herbs and greens, shrubs and berries, trees, mushrooms, lichen, and seaweed, it literally shows you in which states you can find that food. And it also shows you other ways how to utilize the plant. Oh, and it also shows you detailed poisonous lookalikes that you can avoid. Run and grab this book while you can, because this is gold. So if you're interested in this book, I tagged it for you in the orange card below. When there's no power, no...
I ain't gonna lie, I don't too much, you know what I mean, get into the whole book club, sharing of books like that. You know, I get my information through other ways and other avenues, so I'm not the sit down, read a book type person. You know what I mean? I never have. But this one here, though, I definitely want this book to have. And just to go through it. Because I think I've heard of either, what form of military was it? Either Marines or something, or somebody also has a book similar to this. I don't know which form, which one it was, but I missed it then. But I'm definitely going to write this one down now.
EBT cards. Our Alex Hobson joins us live from the Manatee County Sheriff's Office tonight. And Alex, the sheriff says that this is a widespread problem.
And this sheriff's office is one of the only agencies addressing it, but we're talking major fraud, and they're using our taxpayer dollars. Walked in one by one, some hung their heads, others wore their feelings right there on their t-shirts. Today, the Manatee County Sheriff's Office announced an undercover operation they've been working on for months, resulted in more than 100 arrest warrants and close to 40 arrests.
This is a huge problem, and we're like one of maybe 3 or 4 law enforcement agencies in the state of Florida that have decided to do something about this.
And it has to do with just that. Meal tickets in the form of EBT cards for low-income individuals being fraudulently used. One part of the investigation centered around Gerald Millis, a local restaurant owner who police say purchased EBT cards from people for 50 to 60 cents on the dollar, and then stocked his local Pizza Pros restaurant with food he bought using those cards.
And we were able to determine that he used 53 different EBT cards at Sam's Club.
Police say 55 people were also caught illegally selling their EBT cards to undercover detectives.
A couple of them said, "I'm headed to go get some rock cocaine."
A beyond frustrating reality for taxpayers who today learned their hard-earned money is being misused.
It's your taxpayers' money and my taxpayers' money that facilitates these EBT.
Yeah, I've heard of the Brett Favre story before, but the EBT one? What? Hey, man, like, I don't know, y'all. First it was the PPP loans. Now they coming after the people who selling and buying the EBT cards for the low ski. For the low. Hey man, I'ma just leave that right there.
Did y'all know that mermaids were in the Bible? Now this was a highly requested video. Now let's talk about it. Now there was a sacred text that was discovered, and it's basically a missing book that was a part of the Bible. And it is called the Book of Enoch. I know a lot of y'all been wanting me to talk about the Book of Enoch on my page for a minute now. And the Book of Enoch talk about mermaids and why throughout history, there have been countless sightings in all type of cultures and countries throughout the world. And this book is so interesting because it goes deep into depths of stuff that is not talked about in the Holy Bible, such as these biblical creatures. Now, the Book of Enoch discusses this group of mysterious beings, and these beings are what led up to the creation of what we call mermaids and sirens now. And they were a group of angels called the Watchers. And these angels came down to earth and mated with humans. And this unholy union is what created the giants, which are called the Nephilim. And they're talked about in the book of Genesis. So whenever people be like, oh, I don't believe in giants, I don't believe in this and that. Okay, but they were in the Bible though. So for a punishment of them coming down here mating with these humans, the Watchers, that group of angels, they were basically bound to this place called Tartarus. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And the Nephilim, which are the giants, they were destroyed in a flood. And the human women that mated with these Watchers, they were cursed. And that is how they became the sirens or the mermaids. Now, sirens can be translated into two different creatures. The Greek mythical creature, the siren, is this bird/human hybrid. And then in other translation is the, human woman/fish creature. But they both mean siren. But in both of the siren creatures, they all have this hypnotic song that have been known to lure sailors and people to their death for centuries. So originally, mermaids were human women. And this is why in several films, they turn into human women. So although they can't necessarily turn back into women in real life, that is why on movies, whenever they're out of the water, they turn back to their natural state. When they get back in the water, they turn back into a fish because they are cursed. But in this Bible, it mentioned how in the new earth, there won't be any oceans because God viewed the ocean as something unholy. And that is why people believe that these creatures in the marine kingdom are so demonic. Like all these different marine spirits, such as the mermaids, people believe that they're demonic. So in the book, it talks about how they believe that these aquatic humanoid creatures survived the flood. And their natural habitat is now the water, so the marine kingdom. So that would explain why there have been so many different sightings for years around the world. But it talks about how they don't only inhabit the oceans. They inhabit other bodies of waters as well, such as lakes and rivers. So according to the book of Enoch, mermaids or sirens are demonic. And they're basically cursed women that made it with these angels. God turned them into the siren. But this is all according to the book of Enoch. Like I said, in different countries and cultures, people worship different mermaid deities and spirits. But if you haven't looked into the book of Enoch, it gets deep, y'all. And I feel like the book of Enoch gives us more of a better example of how the world was created. It's so interesting.
You have discovered some friends that Luigi Mangione traveled with in Thailand who have quite a few stories to tell.
Luigi was in Thailand, and these two guys from Germany met up with him. They actually just met in Thailand, and they hung out, and they traveled together for a week and a half. One of the interesting things was that they were all planning a day at the beach. Luigi instead went to a shooting range, and they found that really odd. And during the trip, Luigi was...
It's amazing how these stories come out like this, you know what I mean? And you have to be, I don't know, you have to kind of be like leery of these stories because of the way they come out, and they just seem so convenient, right?
Was talking about this book that he was obsessed with. And this kind of gets to what this assassination was really about. Everybody thinks it's about health insurance. Luigi's gripe was over corporate greed. Health insurance was a symbol of it. And there were two books that he got obsessed with. One of them was written by an author in India. And Luigi wanted to buy 400 copies of the book to support the author. He was so obsessed with it. His credit card didn't go through, it got declined, but he was trying to buy 400 books. Not only that, he printed the book out, he annotated the book, and then he flew to India, met with the author to tell him how he could have made the book better. And there's an arrogance to that, but also an obsession.
Listen, this is all speculation until we hear from Luigi. Other than that, this could be allegedly, possibly people seeking attention because they know whatever they speak of, or if they're close to him, they're going to get all of this publicity. So we don't know, man. And they could be telling the truth, but until we hear it from Luigi or in some other form, like, yeah, I don't know what to believe.
Number of retailers now charge when you send purchases back. Elizabeth Schulze has the details on this. Elizabeth, this is a deal breaker for a lot of people.
It really is. Good morning. You know, this is a regular habit when we shop online. You order that gift for someone else, maybe for yourself, in a couple different sizes and styles, and then you return whatever you don't like, and you expect to get a full refund for that return. But now that is not always the case, especially if you don't read the fine print.
With the record-breaking holiday shopping season comes the season of making returns.
My biggest issue with Aritzia is their darn return policy.
And the new reality that this year, it may cost you.
Amazon e-return policy is banana. You might get charged a restocking fee, you might get a partial refund, or you might get zero refund.
An estimated 40% of retailers now charge return shipping fees, ranging from $5 to $10 per shipment from brands like Zara, H&M, Abercrombie & Fitch, J. Crew, Macy's, and Saks Fifth Avenue. Amazon charges a $1 shipping fee.
And they've been slowly rolling this out for some time now. But it's not going to hurt us. It's going to ultimately hurt them. Because we were more willing to try things. Okay, maybe I'll get this and try it and see if I don't like it, I'll send it back. And then it gets here and we end up saying, you know what, we're going to keep it majority of the time. You know, so, but now you lose that. To me, that's an extra sale that you possibly wouldn't have gotten had you not had this type of return policy. But now that you've changed it, I think it's going to hurt them more, not us.
Fee if you return at a UPS store when options like Whole Foods, Amazon Fresh, or Kohl's are closer to your delivery address.
Retailers are charging more return fees because it's very expensive for retailers not only to send the product to customers, but also pay the fees when it comes to returning that product.
The fees are part of a broader crackdown from retailers, who can spend an average of $30 to process a single returned item. The National Retail Federation telling us with more than $743 billion in merchandise returned in 2023, merchants and brands are prioritizing efforts to minimize losses from returns, particularly those that are fraudulent.
Number of retailers.
Hey, that come with the game, man. They wanted to leave brick and mortar and go strictly online. So this is what comes with the game. Oh, that's part of it. Now you want us to incur that cost? I ain't jacking that. I ain't buying it. No.
There is a famine coming. It's not hard to see. You look at the gas prices, the food prices, the lack of food in some places. You have the issue with the eggs because of bird flu. You have the issue with food that we get from overseas that'll have tariffs on them come 2025, right? So you have a lot of stuff going on that shows you what time it is. God told us a long time ago, prepare, prepare, prepare for what's coming, right? And if you look at the old school biblical days, when they tilled the farms, they would till them for 7 years, and they would let the land rest for 7 years. But they always stored up food. It's always stored up food in the grain silos and in these different areas so that when a famine hit, they could be able to make it through. They'll be fine. Question is, are we storing up for this next famine that is coming? When you look at everything that's been happening in 2024 between the earthquakes, the storms, the freezing in different areas, when you look at the food shortages and the cost of goods, when you look at the possible wars we have everywhere else, it shows us we need to be prepared for what's coming. He told us in his word, I will never leave you nor forsake you. But he also said, come to him with everything and listen to him. Have an ear for him, because if we don't have an ear for him, we're not going to know what's coming until it's too late. Get prepared, ladies and gentlemen. 2025 is going to be off the rails. Famine is coming. And I worry for my people that's not preparing. Last Days Navigator. There is a...
Hello, TikTok refugees. This is my home in China. I want to show you this apartment. In China, we don't need to pay real estate tax like I own this apartment. I don't need to pay every year for the tax. Like after I pay off my mortgage, I just live here. I don't need to pay every year the tax. So even though one day I don't work, I don't have income, I'm still able to live here till the day I die, basically, okay?
That makes sense. That should be like that everywhere. That's not nothing that seems to be, like, we the only people that do that. It's frustrating. That's frustrating. That's frustrating. Because that's why people run around and always yelling at us, we don't own nothing. You could pay your home off, but default on your taxes and they still take your home. Like, what sense does that make? But
so that's why in China there's no homeless. And that is my sofa, my table, my bedroom. And sometimes I stay here, lie down on the ground to have some sun. And there is a river over there. It's all frozen, it's winter, someone's skiing there, if you can see. Look, yes, I'm my skiing. And my small refrigerator. I live here by myself, so that's enough. Maybe now you can have a sense that why in China there's no.
And that's the thing, you know, you see everybody saying, leave, we want to leave, or they want to leave. We just need to fix here. We can have that same thing here. How? I don't know how. I don't have the answers to that, but we could have it here. We just need to figure out the how and how to make them do it. That's it. But I know we can do it and we can get it done.
If this is your first time hearing about any of this, I need you guys to understand that there are plane-sized, almost like commercial-sized drones flying around in fleets over New Jersey. People say, oh, they don't land. People say, like, where they go during the day. I've seen them during the day. I've seen them land. Again, skip forward to see the video so you don't have to listen to me, like, go on and on. I've seen these drones now, like, from every angle. I've seen them change shapes. I've seen them teleport. I've seen them land. I've seen them appear. And I've seen them during the day. When I start to like ignore these things, I swear they get louder. Like the other night, and this is the video I'm about to show you guys, it was literally hovering outside my bedroom window. And you have to understand, like, these are like in the shape of planes, and they're like flying lower than roof level. I sound crazy, but I swear it was like saying a message, like a woman's voice, like was like repeating a message, but I'm just gonna move on from that part. I think I'm like mainly like trying to get this all out now since TikTok is getting banned, and I have no way of showing you guys like all the things that are happening, because I genuinely believe if more people knew, they would like, it would blow your mind. So I do have a new Instagram where I'm going to be posting like more of these videos, because I'm not going to post all of them on TikTok. It won't get pushed out. So follow the Instagram that's in my bio if you care to see like just the videos only. And I'm going to be doing a live soon. And in the last video, I told you guys that it's all blacked out. I only know that because one, I've seen them up close, but I saw it during the day. And one thing that I can say is like they don't really reflect any kind of light. Like, I just let that process. They're not reflecting. Even the street lamp that it flew over, which you'll see if you skip forward, it didn't reflect any type of light. And even the lights like on the craft, it barely reflected it. And I don't even know if it reflected it or if it was just like from the mist outside that was like illuminating. So it moves very slow, intentional, right? I get in my car, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna follow. As I'm following it, it is flying now below roof level, behind people's backyards. This is the thing, there's a lot of stuff in people's backyards. There's like, you know, play sets or whatever, and there's trees. This thing was flying through it like butter, just like going right through it. And then you'll see in the video that it like dips behind a house and then just never comes back up. It's just gone. Even if you do not believe me, can you please just either save this video or comment below like, I don't believe you, but like New Jersey drones, just for the people who do want to see this, that they have an opportunity to like see these videos. Because again, this stuff doesn't get pushed out and TikTok is going to be banned, and I just want the people who care to get these updates to know like where to follow me so that they can continue to see these videos. It's a triangle. It's just a black triangle. Oh wait, no, it's a plane. Totally black plane. The light's not reflecting off of the plane that much. You see it?
And they be flying really, really low. Like, too low and close for comfort for me.
We switch timelines. That's why all the Mandela effects have been happening.
And do you
Watch
think of when you
this.
see these pizza rolls? Yeah, I'll give you a minute. Now, if you're from my
Tostinos.
timeline, you would have said Tostinos. It's Totinos. Where did the S
What?
go? And you guys know Jordan sneakers, right? The logo always had shorts, but supposedly it's always been pants?
Ain't
How
no
does that
way.
even make sense? Who plays ball in pants? And wasn't the Mississippi River the
I would have got clowned if I showed up with a pair of sneakers on that were Jordans and the dude on the logo had pants on. Do you know the type of roasting where I'm from you would receive? Yeah, no, that's not true.
longest river in the U.S.?
Yeah.
Well, supposedly it's the Missouri River. By the way, comment down below, what's a better fruit? Watermelon or pineapple? Let's see who wins
Let me
this
know.
war. And I know I am not tripping. Y'all cannot tell me that the Energizer Bunny has had its battery on its leg the whole time. I
What?
kid you not. It's always been on its back.
We switch timelines.
We're not doing that. We're not even finna play around like that. We all know that that Energizer Bunny had it on his back. No. If you even about to even fix your face to even comment something other than that, don't even comment. Don't comment. No.
Now, for hundreds of years, the buried city of Pompeii has given archaeologists astonishing snapshots of life in ancient Rome. But it still holds some secrets, as science editor Rebecca Morell is in Pompeii with news of a new discovery.
We have something very special to show you. It's a major discovery that for the last 2,000 years has been lying buried beneath volcanic rock and ash. And you are going to be the first people to see this. It lies just beyond this door here. And who better to show us around than the director of Pompeii? Hi, Dr. Gabriel Zugtriegel. I mean, shall we go in?
Absolutely.
Come on, we'll take you with us. Wow. This is a spectacular room. Just what is this? What kind of room
it's
is
something, if you see it normally in Pompeii, you would think this is a public bath complex. There were several in the city, but the special thing is we are in a private home here. So someone had really a lot of money and a lot of space, and in his private place he or her had this bath complex. This is only part of it. It's the frigidarium, so the cold bath. You had cold fresh water from the aqueduct here, and then you have the warm room and the hot room. So it's a bit like a hammam. You go through various spaces. We're in a courtyard here.
I'd be probably willing to bet that whoever home this was probably had like multiple wives. Back then, if you had this type of money, yeah, it's safe to say you had plenty wives.
So it's partly open air, and this is really what made us think how to explain the fact that in a private home you have such a huge bath complex.
Yeah, I mean, this is an unusual discovery here, isn't it? I mean, normally to go into a bath, you'd go to sort of the public baths. So the person who owned this must have been very wealthy.
Yeah, and they probably had parties going on with banquets and also bathing. We know that this was often linked in the Roman world. And why? Because they wanted to have fun, but also because they needed support maybe for elections and, political activities and business affairs and so. So it had also a social function in this society.
Yeah, I mean, you can almost imagine it, can't you? Sitting around the ledge on this pool, chatting to your friends, taking a dip in the hot weather. I'm just going to show you some.
Maybe if you want.
Sounds like Hollywood before Hollywood, don't it? Might be where they got some of these tactics from. I don't know.
Want to make a deal, right? It's working better here with a glass of wine than maybe in your
formal
office,
setting,
right?
Yes, exactly. I'm just going to show you some of the features here. I mean, we've got these steps, a pipe here, which would have let the cold water come out into the pool. And just on the corner here, this is one of my favourite things, a little pot that was found exactly
standing here since almost 2,000 years. So it's exactly in the position where it was in August 79 AD when Pompeii was buried and destroyed.
Teetering on the edge. Now, we're just going to move around a little bit to show you another part of the bathhouse. I mean, there's lots of scaffolding here because of these exquisite columns around the place. So we're going to head over to here, and these, I mean, they're lovely, the pots here. I mean, would you normally find pots like this in the middle of a bathhouse?
Because what we have in mind when you think of the Roman world are often these drawings and based on texts essentially and excavations of destroyed houses. Here in Pompeii, we find everything as it was in 79, and probably, yeah, it might have been normal that the Roman world was a bit more stuffed and disorderly than we think, but it might also be linked to reconstruction and renovation work going on in the house. You see there's a pipe. This is also maybe not so normal because it was not covered. So maybe they were rebuilding some of the water system and the bath complex.
I mean, I love the plumbing here. Roman plumbing is really, I mean, it's really neat. It's the kind of stuff you don't normally think about, but water would have been piped off into the street.
Yeah, and they had actually hot water and cold water. So there's a room without any decorations, painting, because there were slaves working there. This is the dark side of Roman history. They had many enslaved workers in this society, and they would make a fire under a huge water boiler, and then you had hot and cold water for the bath complex.
Yeah, so you've got the luxury, and then the poor people having to supply the luxury.
Had winter too, so
yeah.
You know.
A bit of both. And just up here, just very quickly, I'm just going to give us a little glimpse of the lovely fresco.
It's athletes in various poses, and it has something to do with religious rituals also. So it's meant to create an atmosphere of Greekness. So the Greek culture was kind of the model for all this.
Well, Gabriel, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic, and it just shows you, I mean, kind of how luxurious this spa-like complex is. I mean, you can almost imagine the Romans here, you know, just now, bathing, chatting to their friends. I mean, it's an astonishing space. It's lovely.